podcast is rated PG-13. Parents strongly cautioned. Some material may be inappropriate for children under 13. Mission 250.
This is the Mission 250 Filmcast, guys.
Fucking get out. Flee.
We're watching the best movies ever made.
One.
And yeah,
no kidding.
We're kind of on a binge of all the best foreign pictures ever. This movie actually broke records. I don't know if you guys knew this.
Oh,
this
really?
is the first movie to ever be nominated for Best Foreign Picture, Best Documentary Feature, and then also Best Animated Feature. All three.
Oh, that's interesting.
Wow. And they tried to get Best Picture for it, and it fucking spoilers. Let's just do a quick synopsis because I think everyone should see this movie.
It's an easy synopsis. It's a therapy session.
Yeah.
For someone that fled.
Before we talk about it, everybody should see this.
Absolutely. It's free on Hulu, no matter who you are. If you have any aversion to anything, like if you're like, oh, it's an animation movie,
right.
You're wrong. Watch it. If you don't like documentaries, you're wrong. Watch it.
You're wrong.
Right. Go see it. Just see it.
So it does sound like we all liked it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do. This is like the first movie in a while where I came in and I was like, if you guys didn't like it, there's something wrong with you. Literally.
But you know what the one thing I have a gripe with is that
no gripes. All positivity.
No, is that there's other movies that just came out with the same style. Like documentaries.
Really? Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So I just watched another one on Netflix and I was mentioning it to my mom, like, damn, we just saw one. I was like, it reminds me of this movie because it has the same animated
okay, so TC, you're up first,
thing.
But first,
so
real quick. This movie is the 2021 movie Flee. It's free on Hulu right now. FLEE. Synopsis is, I'm not going to tell you the synopsis. Literally, if you're listening to this podcast and you like movies, which you do because you're listening to this podcast, put this movie on your queue. You will enjoy it.
100%.
No matter who you are.
See it and then come back.
Yeah.
So there's a show called My Worst Roommate on Netflix that just came out, and it literally has all these kind of like sketch.
Oh, is this kind of documentary?
As it tells the story. Yeah, right. And I was like, this is so similar, but it's nowhere near as good as the animation and the feeling of the dreams versus the reality. Like that doesn't happen.
Yeah. And we'll get into trivia too. There's a movie from the 2000s called Waltz with Bashir, which is also an animated documentary type of thing with real footage spliced in. But these people avoided it.
I counted on you, Denny, that you were going to find.
I got a lot of trivia on this one. Yeah. But that movie was really good. This movie, they're aware of it, and the animators intentionally avoided watching that movie because they didn't want to be influenced in any way by that movie.
They knew it would be a similar approach.
But anyway, TC, it's your turn to go first this week.
Talk.
So it's a good movie. All right, next.
Fuck you, dude.
I mean,
understated as usual.
It's tough. It's not an easy thing to digest. It's sad, a little bit.
Yeah,
a lot of it.
Yeah.
Scary.
It's heavy. Yeah,
scary.
It's heavy. Scary. It has a lot of parallels to exactly what's going on in Ukraine right now.
It's insane how relevant it is.
Coming out of Ukraine right now, right? Like the New York Times this morning or yesterday was saying that there were at least 1 million of refugees out of
there's
Ukraine
probably more.
Right now.
They're not even counting them, right? Yeah. I couldn't believe it. When I was watching it, I was just like, so this is kind of what they're going through in Ukraine, although this guy's story is just really, really bad.
And like the Russian corruption, like those scenes.
And like through Russia.
Yeah.
Why did it have to go through? When it went through Russia, I was like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, right. So anyways, the movie Flee is basically about a person that flees.
Spoilers.
Yeah, it's basically about a person that flees the fucking. How else are you supposed to do it?
Yeah,
right.
Well, yeah, we're talking about the movie. So it's about the fucking guy that escapes his place of shittiness, which was what? Afghanistan. Right? Yeah.
Yep.
During the war back in the 90s. So, or 2000s.
80s.
I don't know. 80s? Was it 80s? Was it 80s?
Well, he grew up in the 80s. The war started in the early.
Although you're right, Peter Jennings was on there, right? Yeah. Like that dude wasn't around when he looked young.
Take on Me by Aha. Take on Me. That's an 80s.
I don't know history. I don't know anything with any kind of schooling stuff.
Go on, TC. Go on. Let's don't let us derail you as we're derailing you.
So it's about a movie. The thing is about a thing, and the guy left the thing, and there you go. It's a heavy movie. It's got cool animation, I think. I liked the difference between, like I said, the dream sequences and the normal animation, I guess. Yeah, you could really picture what was going on too, like just by the sounds. They really did a good job of matching the visuals with like the sounds.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Like,
and you'll be even more impressed knowing how they animated the movie, which I'll talk about later. Yeah, because I figured they just like animated over the footage they had, but that's not what they did.
Kind of like the Waking Life thing.
Yeah,
I thought they just like animated. Yeah, or they at least had
put a filter on it and remove frames, right? And that's it. But that's not what they did.
Oh no, I didn't think they did that.
What do you think they did?
I thought they shot everything and then they kind of like rough sketched it based on what was shot.
Kind of.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll say sometimes they did that.
Because there was a couple of times where it felt right. Like they framed it perfect. I'm like, they have to have this in a frame. They're looking
and
at
they teased it in the very last shot of the movie when they were walking like away from the camera and it cuts to the real footage. You're like, they just must have filmed all of this, right?
Yeah, exactly. That was really cool the way they did that. Yeah. That's like the first time they really did that. It's like then it's just like, holy shit, what does that mean? Does that mean that this was all
how do they
real?
do this?
Yeah,
that was cool. I love that. I love that ending shot. That was cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know, like it was tough to know if it was a story, if it was real, and then then they would cut to like news stuff, and you're like, get the fuck out, this happened.
Yeah,
this is not based on a true story. It is
a true story, and they have interweaving little sections of this guy's life in news footage and other smaller, like when his sisters go into the shipping container and they cut to the real fucking news footage, and they actually that's real footage. They went back and they found news footage of that specific container that they were in. That was
even
real.
These locations, I would suspect that it's like this is that airport at that time.
Yep.
You know,
it was.
Or
you had 90s cable. It's cable, right? That's how you pronounce it. 90s cable airport footage. Where the fuck do you find that?
I don't know.
Oh, Kabul.
Is it
Kabul?
No, so you don't know either. Yeah, you're going to correct
Kabul. I've heard like Kabul.
Kabul.
You were saying cable. And
I thought you meant like cable television, like circuit TV.
I've heard cable. I'm an idiot. I apologize.
We're Americans. We know nothing.
Yes. The capital of Afghanistan. There's footage from the airport from the 90s.
I didn't even know what year it was in.
You're just ballparking decades.
I'm ballparking decades by the fact that it looked like it was the 90s.
Yeah. Right. I don't know. A long time ago. 90s, 80s.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Back when the modem was dialing up, and you could hear it in the background. Whenever that was. So yeah, I mean, it was.
Did you cry?
I don't know. No.
Did you come close to crying?
Yeah.
When did you come close to crying?
I'll tell you when I cried.
I know when you came close.
You know when I cried?
I know when Naomi
cried.
When I cried? Yeah.
I know when I cried.
I came close to crying during one scene.
I don't remember.
I lost it. I totally lost it.
Was it when it was zooming out when he was at the gay bar?
Yes.
Yep.
No. Well, it was exactly
really?
when he was dropped off at the gay bar and
his
you
dad
had the realization that. So
no, it was when it was zooming out and there was music and he was at the bar by himself, being happy for like the first time in his entire life.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, it felt almost a little contrived in Hollywood.
It wasn't,
but I didn't care. I know, but you expect he's about to be condemned by his older brother because he's gay.
Yep.
And
the suspense there was a little too much because it was like it was tricking us.
Contrived, right?
Yeah.
I thought the brother was going to drop him off at a brothel. I thought the brother was dropping off at a brothel.
That's what I thought too.
Experience exactly.
He's like, you need to fuck a woman because that's how we do it.
You're all like manipulated into this. And it was so and even though it was manipulative, it was so beautiful. And the brother's like, we knew this.
Yeah.
That was so like, and then he's happy. Fuck. I mean,
dude,
crying.
like we had my brother had a friend who was like, we knew it was gay. And then years later, he came out finally, and everyone was just like,
and the fact that it's real too, right?
We've known that since you were like, not even in fucking second grade.
No, that was like as somewhat contrived as.
But it's not a movie plot. This is reality, right? That's the difference, I think, because like the emotion while he was telling the story, you could hear how it was like the moment that it changed him into being like a possibly happy person.
Yeah, it was, but it's reality. But I feel like they knew what they were doing and how they constructed it up to that point. You know, right?
Oh yeah.
I know, so, and that's fine.
Because that's probably how he really remembers it, though. So it's.
I felt like, even though I was like, I'm sitting there, I'm crying. I'm like, you led me by the nose movie a little bit there. And that's okay because I'm still crying. But God, that was so, that was like one of the most impactful moments I've had in a while up to that point, the way you're there and you're led to this point. And you're right. That's the moment he's happy. And the bartenter winks at him the way that all these other characters
He's
are
accepted. It's a happy place. Yeah. Everything else in his entire life has been completely shitty. Until this one moment.
That was as far as like a movie moment where things just pivot, it's so profound. It's just, that was.
I laughed at that point when he was like, and I didn't go home. I was like, my
Right?
man. Yeah.
I laughed there too, and I turned to Naomi, and Naomi was just like covering her face, crying.
Yeah.
And she was just like, that was beautiful. I'm like, yeah, it was.
It was,
That was great.
it was
Yeah.
fucking beautiful. It was. Yeah, I can see why this is like this blends documentary, movie, animation.
Yes,
like
it does.
you
It's
can't
got a
quite
lot of
categorize
components,
it.
doesn't
You
it?
can't just call this a documentary, right? I can see why they're not
because
going to just,
there are like parts that aren't documentary that are dramas. Like there's the sections that he wasn't there for that they still put in the movie, and that's why the animation works so well because you're introduced as these characters as animated people, but like the story being told is immediately from a real person, and you know that. But then it can like jump to things that didn't happen, and you're still like in the characters. Like they can, I mean, if you look like a live action dramatization of things that happen that you couldn't see in a documentary, you know, whenever they try to do that, it's kind of shitty and it takes you out of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you add younger actors in a live action movie,
or it's like,
and it's just like, well, that doesn't really look like them.
Right.
But in this one, it's just like I bought everything, and it was super easy to like think of this as his real life story the way they did it. Like it was
it's so brilliant, the use of the animation. It's so brilliant the way it works.
Yeah.
Because of how it does that for you. You I think the other thing that's also sort of good is it softens it a little. As horrible as all of this is, because it's animated parts of it, it softens it a little so that you're not too horrified to not follow. I don't know. At least for me,
I don't know.
I think,
for an animated movie, there was some pretty serious shit that happened.
No,
in this movie.
I know. But I still feel like somehow
I was surprised at how impacted I was at like when he was even just. There were scenes where he was sitting in a room with the director of this movie talking about
those were
how
really
like
powerful.
his father was taken and stuff, and it was just footage of them just sitting in a room. Just him describing it, like that was intense.
But then interposed with like the scenes
was...
of like his father giving the watch to his mother and all of that, like holy shit, it was Anyway.
I mean, this is the heaviest drama we've seen in a while. I think I don't know, and it was a cartoon.
Yeah. I mean, this story. This is like the most personal thing, like too. Like it's so amazingly just one person's story and so detailed and just I don't know, just amazingly well done. But the TC, what more do you got? What more do you got here?
Oh, we hijacked it.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I got not much to say.
Hijack.
I was just, it was the type of movie that makes you realize how lucky you are. That's and then you start throwing the TV and you start to see all these people that are going through what this guy's been going through
shit
already, and like he's fucking through it, but like the rest of these people are just getting started. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm fucking hearing, the sun setting nicely over on the balcony there. You know,
right.
I'm good.
There's nobody knocking on your door.
I'm working and I'm working late.
Papers.
Like, kind of sucks I have to work, but then I'm like, yeah, but there's people right now that can't work.
Dude, I complained for 10 minutes about how I couldn't back out of the fucking driving range today.
Right.
I'm such a fucking asshole. I hate myself. God damn it.
Who gives a shit? Right. I know.
can't.
Fucking asshole
I'm just here to hit some golf balls.
Yeah.
Man. I know I want to go home and I can't.
I can't.
It's funny too because you
I need to talk about it.
Your regular life, you get so caught up, right? Like at work, there's drama, there's always politics, there's always bullshit, right? And you're like,
he broke his mic.
TC just froze.
What happened? Really?
That's a great pose. I should screenshot that.
Screen cap that shit.
There we go. Look at that. That's pretty amazing. It's like
you guys are frozen, but I can hear you.
That's pretty good.
Oh no, TC.
I'm gonna save that. Look at that.
I got nothing.
Oh, he's back.
Oh,
I can hear you now, TC.
Robot.
So TC, you were saying something about being at work.
Oh yeah, like work. Fuck, you get stuff all that bothers you at work, and then you hear about this story, and then you think about what's going on in Ukraine, and you're just like, everything's fine.
Yeah,
it's not so bad, right?
Like, what can you be that upset about?
I mean, you can be really negative with all the news going on and stuff, and this movie just seemed really positive. It's like I love, if anything, my favorite thing about this entire podcast is getting a better world perspective. As much of a better world perspective you could probably get by traveling around and learning languages and shit. Right. Watching good foreign movies is like, it's a step. It's better than nothing at the very least, right?
Like a hero is another example. Like that's why I love, and I want us to find more foreign films because these kinds of the perspective these really good films can give us.
Being sympathetic to somebody from Afghanistan that it gives you just hearing him talk about how nobody in his family wants to be in the army. That just gives you a perspective of the majority of people, that's happening in Russia right now, where it's most of the people don't want to fucking be in the army. Yeah, and they have to be. Otherwise, the option is to go to fucking jail. And who knows what happens there? You're screwed.
I know.
And if you run, then you have to go through this shit. Like this shit seems.
Can you imagine?
terrible.
And then the corruption with this, and the kid was going through with the Russians and all the different things with like, and by the way, when you get to that next place, destroy that.
He's living with letting somebody getting raped, and he just has to live with that shit.
Right. He has to live with that. He has to live with denying his family, who's like sacrificing for him. Holy shit! Like
I know, like
just to live.
Right.
Just fucked.
Right.
And
just
his
to
parents,
not go back.
His parents can't tell him why in the beginning. In that one part where he calls, he doesn't understand. Like, but you guys aren't dead. And the dad just sighs. Like, what do I say to him?
Or the older brother.
Yeah. The older brother. Sorry.
Oof.
The older brother, who was kind of like a father figure in his own right.
Oh, I know. No, he was.
It's just tough to think about that. And then, be complaining about anything at this point.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Yeah. These types of movies are great because it brings you into another kind of like world, right? That you're not used to thinking about. And it brings you into like the feeling of empathy towards others.
Right.
And
like
it reminds you that
different.
it reminds you that you're all okay in the end. Really, if you're still alive, things can still look up. Right. And you just got to keep on persevering. It's got that kind of like message in it.
And that you shouldn't hate other countries for their people. The people are fine everywhere. It's not the people that are fucked. It's the leadership that's fucked.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's government that fails the people, not people failing the government.
Right. And the politics and everything aside too, I think this is one of the best like portrayals and ability to understand the homosexual side of things in a way that I think it was so well done. How we get an understanding of his character from that perspective, and that to me also was like as well done as I've ever seen that.
I was still waiting for like the old lady with the slit.
You're right.
Thanks, hand of God, you've ruined it.
Hand of God reference there. Jesus, right? Yeah. No, I was thinking about that. It's like hand of God guy. You made my life is interesting. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. Right. I don't give a shit about your aunt. This guy fucking was in
your parents died
container.
Peacefully after a long life. Fuck you, hand of God guy.
I didn't even think about it like that. Yeah. Did they go to sleep and not wake up? Oh, that's cute. Yeah, you ever been in a fucking sea container?
Peaceful life. I don't know. So just like
honestly.
Tell my story. All right.
Yeah, I mean, you just never. It's one thing that
my story deserves to get heard too.
You never know what other people are going through.
Because nothing happens.
I'm sorry, hand of God guy, that you're not a homosexual refugee.
You're not a good. Yeah, that's a pretty hard
label
to get
apologize to him for that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I don't know how they, because it's real. It's just done, and it's not pandering, or it doesn't feel fake. It seems so real and genuine.
The way they started it was amazing, and I noticed it. So you start with him preparing for the interview, but even before he gets to start the interview, he gets up because he's upset, and then it kind of like goes into he sits up from his like the rug that they're filming on. You're already getting to know his like actual non-interview, non-documentary persona from the beginning.
How tense he
so
is.
You're already like getting to know him personally from the very first 30 seconds of the movie.
Yeah, it is really well done, right? Yeah.
Very helpful, because like you feel like you know this guy.
Like avoidant he is, like how hard it is for him. Like that is also, pretty amazing. And then
there's something about the Danish language too that like it's just soothing to listen to. I don't know why.
Yeah, it was.
They were kind of whispering though. Both of them were kind of whispering to each other. I don't know if it's the language or they're like those two specific people.
I don't know, because honestly, in a lot of the Danish TV shows, they talk very low. I think it's just kind of like.
All right, this is kind of the thing.
In this TV shows, it's the style too. They're always very calm, very collected.
Right. I'm glad it was, even if it was in English, if that was their like level, I would have needed the subtitles even in English.
Oh, I wanted to ask. You guys watched the subtitled versions, right?
Yes.
There was a dubbed version?
Oh,
there
really?
was?
Oh, God.
Oh, I wish I would have watched that.
I'm not sure if that would be good.
No, I watched it on Prime Video. I ended up renting.
Oh, really?
So.
I just watched it on Hulu and got the subtitle.
Yeah, I was too lazy to log in. Literally, that's why I did it. I was too lazy to log in, so I bought it on Prime Video.
Well, why do you have to buy it on Prime? I thought you should have access to all of that.
No, I don't have access anymore. Remember, I changed my job.
Oh, right, okay. Well, I'm surprised. I'm not sure if it dubbed would be. Did you listen to the dub, Denny? Or
no? But I saw the actors.
I would worry that would be a lot worse.
Weird.
So would I. Yeah, we just watched it because that's what pops up on Hulu. So that
you don't get the right, you wouldn't get the right feeling because it's his feeling, right? It's his tone.
Right.
Right.
I don't know.
And that's not his. That's not his real name, and all the names were changed and stuff. But that's his voice was unaltered. His image, the cartoon image, is not what he looks like in real life.
Okay.
But his voice was unaltered. So
yeah.
You want to hear his voice.
Great.
You want to hear his
voice. You want to hear the angst.
That's him, right? That's
I know,
him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Even if it's not the language you speak, you want to hear
how could an actor ever capture those feelings of, I'm sure they would argue they could, but
maybe.
I don't believe it.
I don't know.
Oh, so it's not made yet, actually. Wait, is it?
Oh, they're dubbing it?
They're dubbing it because it's
all right.
It's going to be a popular movie.
Because people want to watch it and
remake it with Ben Affleck.
it's just Ben Affleck and Matt Damon talking. Yeah. Hey, so I left fucking the city, guy. It was a tough one, dude. We got smuggled out my uncle's van. It was fucked. Yeah.
Had a couple of paps in the back. It wasn't so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy only fucking had tall boys of Coors. Who gets Coors tall boys, dude?
And the Rockies weren't even blue. They were in the trunk for 5 hours.
The Rockies weren't blue. They were fucking warm tall boys from Coors, dude. What the fuck? Yeah, just Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. They should do this.
They shouldn't. Wait, that'd be the worst ruining of a movie ever.
Yeah. Talking about Dunkin' Donuts and shit.
Oh, how about that scene with a McDonald's? Like, that was fucking weird.
That's so.
It was bizarre.
It's bizarre, and also it's so everything echoes right now because people are
because McDonald's isn't closing down. People are boycotting McDonald's right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Same with Coca-Cola. # boycott McDonald's. # boycott Coca-Cola. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why not?
Two great fucking things. I'm not boycotting those. Fuck that shit.
Go to Pepsi, TC. Pepsi's actually still selling in Russia right now, so,
Actually, I don't mind a Pepsi. A little mug root beer.
Get a little Mr. Pibb, Or maybe Dr. Thunder, like the Walmart brands. Those are pretty good sometimes.
Oh,
Dr. Thunder.
Throw up.
Tastes pretty good.
Throw up. Go for the Thunder. Tastes pretty good.
My God.
It tastes kind of like Dr. Pepper.
No, there's so much. I mean, I don't. I mean, this movie was amazing, but part of its impact might have been just how it echoes what's happening right now. So, I mean,
I think it's. I mean, probably a little bit. I mean, maybe a lot of it. But I also, I wouldn't. A lot of it. I wouldn't talk down the making of
a lot of it.
I don't know. I don't think so. You're taking away from the impact of the movie, John. You're taking away from how impactful and realistic the drama and the way it was edited together and the animation and the style
you're right.
and the way the music is so underplayed but like perfectly done.
Dude, you're right. You're totally right.
The way the animation changes when he's feeling certain ways or when he's remembering certain things and impacts the feelings of the character telling it. It was awesome.
I totally agree. I think this movie's going to stick with me. I think it just was heightened even more because of current events in the Ukraine.
Yes.
I think that it then doubled.
I think that definitely had more to because when I realized what was going on and what it was about, I hyper aware. I went into hyper aware mode. And being like, oh my God, this is going to be really timely and fuck.
Wait, so Russia's always sucked?
I know this.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh no, I knew that.
Oh, okay.
I knew that already. I was way ahead on that game.
Just the movie, how it
never trusted a Russian.
No, but the movie focuses on the personal experience of a single person caught up in war. Caught up in conflict and what happens to their family and
you separate. Apparently.
Right. And then being a refugee and what that means. And being caught up in something that you're not part, you didn't instigate anything or believe in it or whatever. It just happens to you and all of the consequences of that. And then how it impacts you personally because of the decisions you have to make and the things you have to do and the things you're forced to do. It's just,
The scariest part to me of this movie was this happens all the time, but the way this movie portrays it so realistically, when their father gets kidnapped and put in jail.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's there.
Just come for him.
He's there for 3 months.
They just they knock on the door and come for him.
They come for him. He goes in. He's in prison.
Gone.
He's allowed to visit for 3 months. Right. And then he's fucking gone.
Right. He's just dead.
And he's probably dead. And it's he's in a low security prison. And you think after 3 months, that's a pretty decent amount of time. The fear has probably waned. His day to day is the same. And then all of a sudden, they fucking decide to kill him out of nowhere.
What's happening in Russia right now, where you can get put in prison for saying the word war, or invasion.
Yeah, and
right?
if you
and so
they put you in prison until people forget about you, and then they fucking murder
and then they
you.
fucking murder you.
Well,
yeah,
right. What are
and
the
that's
rules
who
now?
we're dealing
if
with.
they're going to put you in prison for that in the first place, then it does. I mean, if it's
I
going
mean,
to be that
this is
ridiculous.
the kind of like these are the kind of ruthless people that this poor fucking kid came into contact with.
Yeah,
Really,
right. Or
I mean, as a kid,
that scene where he's like, there's the girl that's going to get raped, and he walks away from it.
He has to,
because what else would he do, right? But but that was also just terrifying as well, the way it's presented, because it's like these are the people in power, and they're sitting there, they're drunk and miserable themselves.
Fuck them.
Holy shit.
Seriously. Like the only people that's like, everyone was sympathetic in this movie except for the fucking Russian police and
of course
the leaders of the. And I was actually pissed off at that cruise boat.
And
And the cruise boat people. It's like, fucking get them on the fucking cruise boat,
God.
you assholes.
I know. When they were passing by, like you're telling. But I mean, when I thought about it more logically, though. That thing is so big, and they can't slow that fucking thing down. The worst part is like someone else is coming to get you. Fuck off! Like what? I couldn't believe that no one would have put up a stink and been like, what do you mean you're not stopping?
That was another really affecting scene. The way they did that, the way they it was very affecting.
I was expecting them to get picked up there.
So was I.
They might,
Yeah.
Especially like when they held one of the guys back from jumping out, and I was like, that's probably a good idea. But then they had to go back. I was like, maybe he should have fucking jumped out. Maybe they should have started crawling up the side of the boat.
But imagine that if they didn't stop again, then he's just in the water, and then you can't get him because they didn't have any engine on the boat. Remember?
Yeah.
At that point,
then they would have had to have saved him because you can't let him drown. Right?
Well, how would
that
you?
might have worked.
They might have. How would you know?
There's a lot of people taking pictures and shit, though. That's like a national disgrace.
Right. That would look bad.
That's a risk, though. That's a big risk. It's like if they, there'd be nowhere. Once you get to the boat, though, there'd be nothing to hold on to. Those boats are huge. What would you grasp?
They have ways to get people out. People fall overboard on those things all the time.
Or something.
Yeah, but that's not down below. So if the guy jumped out into the ocean and he swam to the big bottom of the cruise ship, what are you going to hold on to?
He'd have to float for about 5 minutes. I would assume.
They have some mechanism, I'm sure, to get people back on board.
And after surviving that like storm and shit, they're probably all super exhausted. They might not be able to.
I mean, he would have died if he went in that water. He would not have been made. He would not have made it.
Any of them knew how to swim.
That too. Plus, like you see, like they haven't been eating, they haven't been drinking, they haven't been doing anything. That guy would have died if he jumped in the water.
That boat scene was fucking intense as hell.
Oh yeah, that was terrifying.
Extremely well done. The fact that they kept cutting to the mother and I have fears, and I know how it is when like you're kind of in the middle of one of your fears and how intense your anxiety gets, and how like everything just like you're not even like in the world anymore, Yeah. And it kind of did that really well in this movie too.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had headphones on too, and it was like really like right up on you,
When they were in the bottom, I was like, they better open this goddamn door. It's like they're not gonna all drown. This is the guy talking. They can't all drown in this boat.
I mean, just like the idea of being stuck inside one of those fucking shipping containers.
Right. No, I was gonna say, like the way they portrayed that one was terrible. I thought the sisters were gonna die. I mean, holy shit. And again, it's not necessarily manipulative, but they do artfully do this, like where he says, "My family's dead," right at the beginning. That's what he writes in his diary. That's what he has to say. So then you expect kind of his sister and his family to die. So they set you up for this, that you think they're all going to die.
Right.
So they're in the container, you think they're going to die.
Right, because you think they're dead, but it's only because
it's not, John. It's good storytelling, man.
They're dead.
I know it's good storytelling. I think is what you'd say. Yeah, right. I'm just used to being manipulated.
Did you when you were watching it? Were you mad at the movie for doing what it did, or were you just like carried along and being like, "Holy shit, thank God they're alive"?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly right, Danny. I wasn't mad. It was good storytelling. I think that's exactly right. But so I'm just so used to the other manipulative side of it, where I'm just sort of pissed at the movie. Like, yeah, I know what you're doing, movie. Stop it. But did TC freeze again? I think TC's frozen again.
He's just sitting really still and being very quiet.
He's being very thoughtful. Thoughtful TC.
He's got a lot to think about.
But no, I think you're right on point there. This is good storytelling. And throughout the movie, it's good storytelling, right? And it doesn't feel manipulative. I just have such a reaction that I like look back on it and go like, all right, wow, movie, you really did that for me. And I'm not mad about it, like with the gay scene, the gay bar scene.
Well, even the director, they edited that scene for a while, and he says now that every time he rewatches this movie because he loves this story too. The director, he cries at that scene every time he watches it still, and he made this movie.
I don't think I've had another movie where I've just like boom cry like right there. Like it was like it felt
because
like
you didn't expect it, right?
No, but the whole movie was almost building up to that point of happiness.
Yeah,
in a sense, like it's just like I don't know of another film experience where I've like lost it sort of so quickly.
I think other movies try to do that. I'm like, you would think in a formula having a bunch of tension and then giving you like a happy release would be a good feeling.
Right, yeah.
I mean, like the one that comes to mind is like Dunkirk. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah, I saw Dunkirk.
That movie's pretty tense for a while, and then there's like one scene towards the end where like all of the small fishing boats are coming to help, and the music changes for like the one time in the movie to like hopeful. That's trying to do the same kind of thing. I think,
Dunkirk was so artsy that I never went along with it. I mean, I thought it was interesting to watch.
I'm saying like it's this. I'm just trying to say that this thing, even though it seems so easy to do because of how the story was going and all that stuff, like it's not guaranteed that a movie will. Even if the story is this good and the animation is this good and the people are this thoughtful about making it, it's still a lot of talent in the build up and the way the narrative goes and everything like that to make a moment like that happen in a movie and work for fucking everyone.
I agree. I totally, and I need to appreciate it that it happens. It's just so unusual that I am almost like suspicious of it. Isn't that weird?
No, it's not because we watch a lot of shitty movies, dude. A lot of shitty ones out there.
Hey, you got me. Fucking movie.
Am I wrong? Am I stupid? Shit.
Right? Or did I just get manipulated?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny. It's like I'm almost like annoyed because it was so well done. Yeah. That's kind of sad in a way. We lost TC forever.
Oh, he'll be back. He's probably resetting his computer or something.
Yeah, poor guy.
He's back.
Okay, check 1, 2. Okay, go. Well, what are we doing now? Watching. I think we should go into trivia.
I had a couple more things. I wanted to say a couple more things.
I didn't get to talk either. So, what do you got?
So
you've been talking the whole time, John. What the fuck are you talking about?
Took over TC's turn.
I'm sorry. TC, wait first. TC, do you got anything else?
John talks too much.
I know. I do.
No, I don't at all. I don't at all. It's all good.
I just want to say one more thing. I think the way
I want to say a couple of things too.
So you can go.
Here we go again.
I just got one more quick thing. I think the way that they do a lot of movies these days do like ratio changes or aspect ratio changes.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
And their footage for different reasons. This movie does it for a reason, and I think it works perfectly. And it not only changes the ratio of the footage for all the documentary stuff, it shrinks the footage and rounds the edges to all the things. So it's like you have this widescreen, beautiful animated stuff going on. And then for all the documentary footage, it's like
in reality
a third or a quarter of the size, and it shrinks on the screen. And it looks like someone has one of those old school, like handheld film cameras filming it. And that really worked really well.
It works. It makes it so that it's not larger than life than the animation. It's not more real than the animation. Yeah. I think
it makes the cartoon world feel like reality, and like the film world is like this, if you're looking at film, it's like through this tiny little hole, but everything
I don't think
else,
I even noticed it.
Oh, really?
No, but like now that I'm thinking back on it, I'm like, damn, yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
But I don't think like at the time that I was like, oh, wow, look at the change.
You're right. It's a good point though, Denny. It is really, really cool that they did it that way, because it does.
It's one of those things. It's like they did it for a reason, and it works perfectly, and it aids to the way the story is told so well. It's like, how could you have done it in any other way? But at the same time, it's like no other movie is like this. Yeah. So it's the first one I've ever seen that did something like this. Fucking awesome.
Wait till you see The Worst Roommate. They must have fucking known this guy was coming out with a movie and stole his idea.
They just, I don't know.
It's literally
totally the same.
Exactly like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's almost like it must be a style that I'm not picking up on.
Maybe. And
other people
like you said,
using.
there was this other movie, Denny, that you said that did this.
Waltz with Bashir, yeah.
Waltz with Bashir.
Like 15 years ago or something.
Yeah. But
that movie was entirely...
I'm not hating it, right? It's kind of cool.
That movie was entirely... Spoilers for that movie a little bit. That movie was entirely animated, and the very end is documentary
footage. The difference between the one I'm talking about, too, is they actually do have live footage and interviews. So it like flops. You're not... Like this movie, you don't really see him at all, right? Yeah. So it's like, there's no real footage in it. So there's, the one that's the show has real footage and the animation, and it does stuff while she's talking, you'll see the woman, and then you'll also see an animation of her.
Yeah.
So it's like weird. Instead of doing like reenactments, they did animation.
I had one more question. Why do they block out the curse words?
Did they?
Yeah, they bleeped them.
I didn't notice that.
They bleep the curse words. There's a lot of bad stuff that goes on in this movie.
Maybe for a different release, just so that it's wide release. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Could be.
Maybe just
there's a lot of R-rated stuff going on in this.
Yeah, maybe
this
they just don't want it to have it's PG-13, isn't it? Maybe they don't want it to have an R rating. I think it's PG-13.
I think it was 13 plus on Prime. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, 13 plus is new.
PG-13.
So maybe
wow.
that's
well,
maybe
no,
they did
it's an Amazon maturity rating.
Okay.
Yeah,
maybe
it's PG-13 on IMDb. Wow, that's surprising.
They just didn't want it to be an R, so they did this.
Yeah,
because they wanted to have a wider audience.
Implied violence is scarier than R-rated. The Rock is R-rated, and this is PG-13. That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. I wouldn't let the kids watch this. I mean, this is just too.
This is educational, though. I mean,
yeah,
it is educational.
I mean, I don't know. I could see.
You could show this in school.
Middle schoolers watching this.
Yeah, you could show this in school.
Maybe, man, but it's heavy. It's still heavy. But
That's
you're
what
right.
13 is.
But I mean, there is one scene of the one of the real footage scenes of a guy dying and dead
in a
bodies,
bloody
in
pool.
Yeah,
that was. I was like,
terrifying.
Whoa, that was really upsetting.
Yeah, that was horrifying.
Fucking don't want to see a real dead body, please.
Right.
Thanks, movie.
Holy shit!
All right, John, what do you got?
Well,
you cried like a baby. What else?
Cried like a baby.
Yeah, how many times can we interrupt him?
Was it just that one time you cried, John? Only question I'll ask you.
That was, I think so. I mean, but I was just taken away by the whole movie. But that time, I just lost it. Like I was telling you, like while TC was like blocked out, I was telling Denny how like I don't think it's hard to think of another movie where it just like exploded like that, and I just lost it. It just built up to that, and then there's this release, and I was just crying. I mean, it's pretty unusual. I don't know of another movie that's done that.
I don't know, John. You cry a lot of movies, man. I don't want to put you on the spot, but
the build up this one where I was like, in most movies there's like some kind of ramp up to crying. This is like boom, I'm crying. Right. So I don't know if there's
Niagara Falls.
Right. I don't.
As
know
opposed
if
to like
another,
Warrior, where you're like, I'm gonna cry at the end of this one.
Yeah,
that's
right.
for sure.
I'm gonna cry. Right.
Hold,
yeah. Exactly.
Hold,
like it's
hold.
like.
And cry.
And Nationals playing and wham.
Right. So this one where it's like boom, like so like without the build up, I think, because it's just so sad otherwise. The other scene that I loved and I think will stick with me for a while is just the way the animation is done with Take on Me, where he's dancing in the streets. I just that song is just an amazing pop song, and the way
I feel like we've talked about this song before.
It's a great song. I love that song too.
It's a fucking great song.
You never get sick of it somehow.
No, it's maybe.
Yeah, some people don't get sick of it, I guess.
But maybe it's been in some other movies. I don't know. And we've talked about maybe it's been in another movie and we've talked about it.
Either way, it's a good song.
But that scene, the sequence of showing his joy, dancing in his sister's clothes, I think that's going to stick with me for a while too. I just thought that was done so beautifully. The way they animated, the way they show the other people's reactions, the way they show the family just like not bothered by it at all. I mean, I don't know.
Like not even paying attention to it.
Yeah, exactly.
It turned your expectations of a family living in Afghanistan, right? It's like you hear about how Afghanistan people like they don't accept that sort of thing, but it's like, well, if you're living in a small little neighborhood and you're poor and a little kid's dancing around in a dress, like, are you going to do anything? No,
exactly. Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. I think that it just, I don't know. It's just kind of amazing the way that was done. And then when they do the rock set with him and the boy was what they're sharing the van as they're getting smoked. I thought again those scenes were amazing. Just the way he's bonding or fantasizing, or and again the humor where he's fantasizing about John Claude.
Dude, I laughed really hard.
It was great.
Yeah,
it was just great.
Funny.
Yeah. I thought it was so
funny.
When they cut to just his bedroom, I knew it was coming. You saw Jean Claude. I'm like, oh, dude, he's in love with Jean Claude. That's hilarious.
That's some funny shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if I'll say this right, but just the way they portray the homosexual experience is amazing in this film. I think they do it so well in such a relatable way. I think that in terms of the way we love these movies, helping us understand other people's experiences, the way they did this, I think is just so natural. It's just so well done that I don't know. I think there's lots of movies that try to help people understand the homosexual experience. And I just think this movie does it so well, and so
it's the way he narrates it too. It's like
right.
A lot of the time, I don't know. this is going to come off bad too, but it seems like a lot of the time, like there's some kind of like agenda to like what they're trying to do. This guy is literally just trying to describe his feelings during like that he had. That's like all he's trying to do is tell us what he felt and experienced at the time.
You're right. They're not trying to convey a meaning or you should feel this or isn't this sad or it's just more like this is what this guy was going through.
Yeah.
And that makes it so real and relatable and honest that it's powerful. And funny, like too at the time, like very heartwarming, almost like Jean-Claude Van Damme is winking at him in his poster.
Yeah, pretty funny. I like when the guy's like, "I like Jean-Claude Van Damme too for other reasons," but still.
Right? It's just funny. So yeah, I mean, again, this movie has so many good, just all those facets that come together. That's really amazing.
Yeah. I agree with
and
you.
Just the quiet sadness that's portrayed through the animation of the mother. I mean, it's powerful. This is just a fucking good movie.
I mean, I'm gonna try to get my mother to watch it. Yeah.
I'm gonna recommend this to everybody that I know.
Yeah, I was thinking I'd watch this again for sure in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So, and I don't usually say that. So you should probably go see
That's
it.
for damn sure.
Yeah,
we know that as a fact.
Yeah.
And this isn't like, oh, this poor guy or we should have sympathy or whatever. It's more just so real and honest. And then the other pieces of it are the survivor guilt that he has and the sort of how he
and like how he had to do better. He had to do really well because his family was counting
and
on
there's
him
no
to do
Oscar
well.
performance here. He is so low key expressing his angst. He's not like doing a Ruffalo from
Thor Ragnarok.
What was it? Right.
Buffalo.
No. What was the Buffalo scene in the Reporters movie? What was it? Like the Oscar scene? They do it all along. They do it all along.
The Boston Globe one?
Spotlight. That was Spotlight. Anyway, he is so like low key in expressing his discomfort and how he can't face some of this stuff. It's amazing.
But you also get a sense that he's like really powerful now because of it all.
Right. Oh yeah.
You know,
it's sort of the end. Again, it's a very. After all of this, it's an uplifting movie.
Well, kind of. I had the feeling. So this movie was like, it was 4 years. The interviews were over 4 years.
Yeah.
And there was a point in the movie. It was kind of unclear. Like I thought after watching the movie, I thought it was like 2 periods of time that he was interviewed on because there was, from what I could tell over like one watch, there was only one point in time where it jumped forward in time, and that was when like he went to the United States and they were talking about.
No, that was
how he was like. There was a period of time where he was contemplating leaving his like fiance or whatever because he didn't. I don't know what his feelings were, but he might not have wanted to be in a relationship because of his history or something. Like he was just a fucked up person, or at least he thought he was, and he didn't think he deserved it or something like that. I don't really know, but. Yeah, I mean, there was a period of time where he wasn't almost didn't allow himself to
so much he couldn't tell his partner, and also how he felt like he needed to dedicate himself to his work, his career, and all of that stuff. But he couldn't really tell his partner any of these things at the time.
Did he not?
Well, I mean,
I think he did before. Yeah, eventually he did. I think.
I assume he did because of the way that the film sort of wraps up, where they have their home together and they're just now like relaxed, sort of, it seems. But the film doesn't go into exactly what happened there either. I think you just sort of draw the line. I drew the line saying, well, he's now accepted that it's okay for him to do this.
I thought so. Yeah, that's what I got out of it.
Probably.
Nice fucking house.
It was good to see that the family made it out too. It was good to see the family made it out.
Oh yeah, no shit. I thought everybody was going to die, and it turns out nobody does.
They all made it out. I know. Thank God for that.
Except for the father,
except for the dad, who never,
especially
was
that
never
older
seen
brother.
again.
Holy shit! You know, I'm
surprised the mother lived that long. I thought she was like on the outs there for a minute.
Right. Yeah.
After the boat, she got like sick after the boat incident or whatever.
And that's the thing is like with his family, each of their individual stories is amazing. But
I mean, there's going to be millions of these stories coming out,
right? There are, and there were before, right?
And like, not to mention, the Afghanistanis that just left, right? The Afghanis that left, they just started. Right.
With the Taliban back now, it's all starting all over again.
It's like, this world is some fucked up shit, my friends.
Yeah.
It's not good.
You just kind of get lucky or you don't. I think that's
the way it's been.
Really what it seems like.
Yeah.
How
do you fix it? Again, who the fuck knows? You can't.
I don't know, but. Yeah, but
keep enjoying your life and putting positivity in the world.
Yes, right. Well, and something like this is like it speaks against all of that. So a movie
does.
like this,
It's like a depressing ass story, but it is a very positive movie.
But it's
Right.
it's not depressing because he made it through it.
yeah.
You know,
Right.
that's really what it ends up with. Is you can get through a lot as an
then not only
individual.
did he make it through it, but then a group of people can put together a story that helps us understand and relate and value his experience.
Mhm.
and try to sympathize with these people, and then hopefully make these events happen less frequently.
Somehow, right?
I
Yeah.
mean, but of course, then
It's not
it
gonna
just
happen.
happened
No, but
times 10.
still,
Yeah.
right? The art, the being able to tell the story. I don't know. It's like it's still really valuable. I don't know.
I agree.
That's a great
100%.
little bit.
Yeah.
It's a great piece. Great art piece.
So you guys ready for some
Yeah.
trivia?
Finally.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
So there is a fantastic Hollywood Reporter article. It's called "Making a Flea Animated Doc Refugee Story." I would read the whole thing if I were you. I'll just pick out some really good some trivia here. Just I wanted to talk about, because the main question I had while watching this was, how do they do the animation and the footage and stuff like
Wait, did
what
they
is
color
going on?
over, or what did they do?
So
Yeah.
the director of this movie, whose name is Jonas Poher Rasmussen. That's definitely how that
Oh,
sounds.
Yeah. Danish.
Yeah, sure.
He was in radio a lot, and he did documentaries and shorts before. And he planned on doing some type of radio interview with this guy because he knows this guy, and he thought, he's always wanted to hear
he
his
knew
story.
he met him. Well, did he go to high school with him or
Yeah.
something? Like what?
That
yeah,
scene
right.
where they
So-
got off on the same train. They live in a tiny
Right.
little town, and they grew up knowing each other, and they knew each other in their adult lives. Like, they spent, what he said in an interview was like the past bunch of years, every New Year's they'd spend it together, not like individually, but like they'd be at the same party, so
Like with
they're
the
really
group,
close
yeah.
to each other.
Wow.
And he's always wanted to know what happened because he knew that like there was a story there. So he had been asking for a while in their adult years, and then finally it kind of like, since this guy is like a documentary filmmaker, he really hasn't done that much,
Wow.
but he's done 3 full-length documentaries and 5
That's a
short
lot.
movies.
I mean, that's a lot.
It's
3
not nothing,
full-length-
but I mean, he's not like this
three
big ass
full-length
director.
documentaries. That
No.
shit takes a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right? I mean, shit.
that's true. Documentaries take
That's
a long time.
long
Right.
process.
Did he get any recognition for those? Is this his first like kind of breakthrough? Or?
This is his first breakthrough. I mean, this movie is breaking through big time. Searching for Bill and what he did are his other 2 big ones. I don't know
Okay.
how big
Never
those ones
heard
are,
of those.
but
Yeah.
this one is
Difficult
definitely
titles.
a big breakthrough. And the budget of this movie was $4 million, which is,
Wow.
quoting the director, expensive for a documentary, but extremely inexpensive for an
For
animated film.
animation.
yeah.
People heard what it's going to be about, and the money just started coming in, which is
Oh,
great.
really?
I don't know who he
I mean,
knows.
it's a fucking,
but-
the story is you cannot,
and so
I mean,
they started
who's
it
going to
as
hate this?
they were going to do like a radio series story, like a Serial, the NPR thing, something like that.
Oh,
That was the
okay.
idea
Yeah.
initially.
That would have made sense.
So they
That
had,
would have been good.
yeah, and so
You
they,
can see that. Yeah.
and what he used to be in radio. So what you do in radio to get people to tell really good stories is you have them lay down flat on something, kind of like you're in therapy. Close your eyes and then ask them questions, and in that way they can kind of like see, they can like go back to the
shit.
memory,
Well, that
and they can
explains
describe.
Because I was wondering about that. Like, why are they doing this? Like,
I thought
why-
that it was
what
just
is
a
this
therapy
setup here?
session. I was like, so what? They
Right?
just like
Yeah.
hooked up a microphone in therapy?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
tactic for
Yeah.
a good interview if you're trying to get like memories out of people, because they can like
Makes sense.
give
Makes them
you-
comfortable.
They can visualize it if they're
Yeah.
like totally
Like dreaming
calm,
it.
and
Yeah, right.
they can see it in their eyelids, sort of thing. So that was the reason they start there on the rug. That's how they actually filmed it. They were planning on it, being on the radio, but they were filming it as well because who knows, it's cheap to film these days. As they got into it, they were like, we could really do something with this. So then they had the idea of making it into a documentary movie that was animated, because they thought about like, how are we going to do all these things that, we don't have footage for? Like, there's a bunch of
Right.
stuff in his past.
and protect
Right.
the person's identity,
Right.
right?
That was also a factor of it. Like, they kind of came to this catch-all solution of how to make this movie, and it was animation. And then they're like, all right, we already have all this documentary footage. So they had 10 animators. I don't know what these are. There's 10 animators, 10 cleanup artists, and 10 colorists. So
Very
I know
cool.
what the first and the third one are. I don't know what cleanup artists are, but that was the team for the animation.
Yeah.
I assume.
I mean, it must be the ones that go through and make it consistent.
They smooth the
Make it
animation out,
consistently
or I'm
between all the
making things
frames.
up.
Well,
I
so
don't
they
know.
they started by, so every single frame of this movie is hand drawn on a computer, but hand drawn. They didn't use
Yeah.
any of the filters. They animated over real documentary footage. to get like the movements of people and all that stuff, but they hand drew it on a computer, every single frame. Okay. But then they used a filter towards the beginning to, what is the word we're called? Interpolate. I think that's the word. Where
interpolate.
Interpolate. There you go. The frames. So it looks
like
smoother.
Cable.
Yeah.
I'm good at English, guys. I'm really good at the language English.
That's right. I don't know history. So you don't know English. I don't know history.
I don't know history or English.
And we got John. Right. And that's
I don't know what I do.
And then,
they did the frames the way they were because the budget was so low because they promised them the frame rate would be like super low. That's how you get cheap animated stuff. But they tried to like mesh it together and make it look smooth, but that looked pretty weird. And they actually ended up removing frames out of the original plan to make it look even jankier because that ended up looking more realistic. And like the unsynced mouth stuff, that was also intentional because like for some reason it looks more realistic. I don't really know
I wasn't bothered
why.
by it.
I wasn't
either.
It really works. And
it worked
knew
really
it
well.
worked.
Yeah.
And they did it on purpose, which is very strange.
It is, but I didn't notice it. It did not bother me at all. Like it's amazing how
I liked it. It did not only bother me. I liked the way it looked.
No. How much it like fit. Everything just fit together so well. I don't know. It's kind of amazing.
So they were already filming the radio show stuff, and they got the documentary animation team on. And at that point, they were still doing the radio show interviews. So they were feeding back and forth. Like what they say in this article is usually with documentaries, you film and film and film and film, and then you come up with a story in the editing room. And in animation movies, you storyboard the entire thing before you start making it, right? So there's two completely opposite ways.
So you like put it all together?
Right. It's completely opposite ways.
So documentary, you film it all and then you put it together. Animation, you like storyboard it all and then you go and get the stuff
documentary,
you want.
You don't know what you're going to get when you start. Right. And the animation, you know exactly what you're going to get before you start.
Right. So you lay it all out. Yeah.
And this one was a hybrid because obviously they were doing both at the same time. So they had all this like radio show stuff and they figured out that it was going to be good enough for a movie. When they hired on this animation team, they started sending them not only the audio, but also the video footage for them to start animating against. And a lot of the shots were, I wouldn't say a lot, but some of the shots were animated against actual video footage they had for the scenes that they had. But they also were able to send requests to the animation team being like, I want a different shot that we don't have actual footage of. Like, I want a high up shot from this distance in this room. And I want to use the audio from that. And I want the animation to be like this, but I want you to animate it from like above the person. So they were able to like do some creative stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right. Because they could manipulate the sound. Like they knew what the sound felt like.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I was like watching it. I was like, this all has to be 1-to-1 animated over what the footage they have. Because like the background audio for a lot of it, when there's like people fucking around in the kitchen and stuff like that.
Really well.
Yeah. And you're just like, this is.
Oh, and
really
I think
good.
they
There's
added
no way they
in a bunch of stuff too.
Really, I thought it was.
I feel like they bolstered some of the sounds that were in the, they like sound extension almost, right? Like where like they can fill in the gaps for you.
But it's never this good, right? It's never this good.
It's a whole different kind of think though, because they actually have to think with their ears. So you get away with less. So you really have to sculpt it, but I'm sure it's possible.
And it's possible. Maybe if you like really concentrate on it.
It's kind of a new thing too, right? Because they've got those podcasts that really are trying to be like fully enveloped in sound so that you like get the feeling that you're in there. And it feels like some of the tactics they use on those like types of podcasts were done here. And it works. It's just, I think when you combine it with a good animation, you're like totally in.
Yeah.
You really, your brain just like finishes the thought. Great.
So the main character guy, Amin in this movie, not his real name, but he was kind of giving them advice the entire time. They would send him edits the entire way through the movie. Mm-hmm. He gave them the advice to de-cartoonize the way characters looked in this movie. Because like the eyes were too big in the beginning. It kind of looked like Disney characters.
Oh, that would have been
strange.
Not so
good.
So
he's like, this is no good. You have to fix this. So they did. They redid all the footage they had to redo the characters because this guy wanted it different. There were scenes that they sent him that didn't ring true to him. And he was like, I want you to tweak this scene like this and like this. And they would. They did until they got it exactly right.
That is sending it to this guy. Unusual sort of thing.
Yeah.
A lot of budget.
Not like a director with a vision that decides what to do and to tell the story of another person, but to listen so intently to the person.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's kind of
There were
unusual.
scenes that, so I think there were a lot of deleted scenes in this movie because there were scenes that were in the movie that were deleted for a while, made it back in, were cut out, back in, cut out, that sort of thing. Because like this main character didn't want a lot of the scenes in there. Like the scene where he walked away from the rape, he was like, I don't want that in there. Like that's one of the worst things in my entire life. Like I don't want to admit that. But then like the director kind of got him to do that. The scene that they also mentioned was when he went into the doctor's office and asked for like pills to make him not gay anymore.
Not gay anymore.
He was just like, I don't want that in there because that's like super fucking embarrassing that I was that stupid. But it's like, well, no, dude.
But that's part of the story.
Yeah, it's part of the story.
It's important, but also important for other people who might have similar feelings to hear those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm glad that also made it in there.
Yeah.
No, this is a cool project. It's not your usual film making.
No, not your like auteur director deciding.
Let me pitch you my idea. So we got this guy, right,
and that's why that's where like Denny and I think you were paused while Denny was saying this. He said it really well. Or I was like saying I felt like I'd say, "Oh, you got me, movie. You got me to fill this." And Denny's like, "Well, that's just really good storytelling, as opposed to being manipulated."
Right.
And he's right. Like there's, I mean,
it is.
We've seen a lot of bad stuff where I feel manipulated and I'm annoyed,
and
but
you're
that's
pissed.
not right. But this is good storytelling.
Right.
It's different.
Yeah, no, it was.
It's a lot harder to do this than the manipulation that it's obvious.
I know, but I still like I've been manipulated so much that I'm like, oh, I'm feeling something. I've been fucking manipulated.
Fuck you. Yeah, right.
Right.
So they would also use the way he told the stories as editing and visual cues. So whenever he got into like a memory that was like very emotional for him, his voice would slow down and go to a lower pitch and get quieter. And they did visual and soundtrack cues to match that. So they used his voice as like the director.
Dynamic.
Yeah, as the dynamic.
Yeah, that's sweet.
For all the scenes.
That's sweet. So, okay, he's getting low here, so we got to try to make it,
Give him space. Don't edit it to be quicker. Let the pause linger.
Right. I mean, that's just cool editorial stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's all part of the process.
And it's the kind of stuff, too, where it's like, I feel like a lot of the really good movies where everything just clicks are like, yeah, of course.
Right.
Do it that way. Great.
Easy to say that, but again, I just think that there could be other decisions like, oh, it's too slow. Oh, we need to punch it up here. No,
but you know how that happens. We experienced some of that stuff writing with the music, right?
Right.
You never intended to do something, and you're like, no, of course it's that way. Why would it be any other way?
Right.
Like, we're geniuses.
That's all we meant to do all along.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's pretty cool though, man. I love it.
So this is up for best animation, best foreign film,
and best documentary feature.
And best documentary all at once.
All at once.
Wow.
Record breaking.
Okay.
No movie has ever done that. They tried to put it up for best picture, but
and it should have.
Don't Look Up.
There.
Beat it out, guys. Meryl Streep cannot be defeated.
Come on.
Yeah, it's pretty much bullshit. The only reason that happened is because people haven't seen this yet. This obviously, people don't like to say there's objectively good and better and worse things in the world, but yes, there is. And this movie is better than Don't Look Up. It is.
Yeah,
it
is.
It is. It's it.
There's no question.
Don't Look Up, but I will say it is.
Oh, no, you don't need to. Right off the bat.
Yeah.
Because it's just fucking, watch the trailer and you tell me this one's not better.
I know.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
That's all I got. I would honestly read this.
Please go see this.
This Hollywood Reporter article. It's very good. It's very long and thorough. And as Stacey said, see this movie.
Movie.
If you're at this point and you haven't seen it, you just totally fucked yourself for enjoying it for the first time. But there you go.
No, I don't think so.
Does this beat out The Hand of God for your favorite film of the year so far?
Well, Dune is my favorite film of the year.
Well, of course. Okay.
Actually, I actually don't know. This movie is pretty damn close to
Dune.
It was pretty fucking good. This movie
is fucking good,
really good too, though. This movie I liked better than Hand of God. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Me too.
Me too.
Yeah. Is this your? So, what are your rankings, guys? We watched a lot of new movies this year.
Oh, sure.
Can you guys rank them?
So,
is Dune number one for everyone? Is that a thing, or is that not a thing?
No, Dune is up there. Dune is just
Dune's
so
up
different.
there.
Like a hero was up there for me for a while. I would have said a hero up till this, I think, and then now I think it's this. So I think this a hero Dune.
Sure.
I'll follow that.
What about T-Tane, guys? Number one?
Oh,
Come
no,
on.
definitely not that. I'm throwing that one away. Never going. Never remembering that one in my life again.
Different list.
It's out. There's no more.
This whole podcast is just so I can make you guys watch weird movies. That's all it is.
Exactly.
Hey, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm
looking forward to Licorice Pizza.
Yeah,
Licorice.
I'm looking forward to next week's movie.
Drive My Car.
What are we doing? What are we doing next week?
So top 250, real quick.
Yes.
So next week, we've been waiting for this movie for a long time, and it's finally available for free if you have HBO Max. I keep saying free, but you need the subscription.
What is
free?
It's called Drive My Car.
Already privileged.
Drive My Car.
It is a Japanese movie. It is nominated for Best Foreign Picture and Best Picture.
Drive My Car. Okay.
And two other things, actually. There's two other nominations here.
I'm going to text the group chat now so I don't have to retext it next week. And I'll look and I'll remember.
Best Directing nomination and Best Adapted Screenplay.
Nice.
Foreign movies never get other Oscars. So unless you have like a Parasite type of situation. So my expectations are extremely high going into this one.
Me too. Yeah. I'm excited to watch this one.
That's it?
Me too.
Do we want a synopsis? We're not doing synopsises, right? Anymore.
No,
It's a bad idea.
what? I think we should just stop the synopsis.
We'll do them at the beginning, but not before the next one. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
it just spoils it. I want to go in blind.
I just want to
jump
into these.
Yeah, we're going in blind.
Someone's probably going to drive it.
I'm worried it's going to be like a Driving Miss Daisy kind of movie, kind of guy and the chauffeur sort of thing.
Maybe
whatever.
I mean, we'll find out when we find out because we're going in blind. All right, boys.
Sweet. Have a good weekend, guys.
See ya.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Right.